Hi guys, and welcome back to the Cassie projects. Firstly, I wanted to apologise for being gone for so long. I wasn't expecting to have such a lot of time off, but I think I just needed it. Firstly, I wanted to spend some time with the kids over the summer holidays. Because when you got kids around 24/7, it's hard to do work and things. Oh, dang. We just spent some time together, which was great. Also, we needed to get loads of stuff done to the house, which was hard work. So yeah, I was just tired, but I'm feeling very recharged, ready to go, and I'm really happy that I've done that, because sometimes we just need to rest a little bit, don't we? So, back to it. I'm going to start with one of the most loved series on my channel, which is Wreck This Journal. I've picked 3 different pages as per usual, and yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first one is draw fat lines. Draw fat lines and thin. I don't know why she's worded it like that. We're drawing fat and thin lines, basically. And I just thought I'd start off with a Zentangle, because I needed to get myself back into the swing of things, you know. So I drew lots of like lines, one where I could colour it in to make it thicker, and some that were thinner. And then I used my Posca paint pens and just coloured it in, added loads of colour. And then finally I went in and did loads of lines in each of the different boxes, because this was all about drawing lines. So I didn't want to do lots of different Zentangle patterns. I wanted to do lines, so I did lots of thick and thin lines. And I tell you what, I really liked how it turned out. Do you know what I loved most though, was adding those little bits of gold throughout, because it makes it shine. It's very nice. So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Moving on to the next one, which is collect dead books here. So I wanted to start off with doing some watercolour. You know, I love watercolour. Watercolour is fun. I enjoy it. I love doing illustrations. So I wanted to do a piece with wildflowers and butterflies. They're my insects. They're my dead bugs, but they're not actually dead, they're living. But, well, they're not really living, because they're paint. So are they dead? So, you can tell I done voiceover for a while. This is a beautiful little illustration that I did. And I've done a little bit in normal time, because a few people have asked me to not do so many quick speed throughs. Sometimes they want to see me actually do the watercolour. So I've left a few little bits there where you can see how I am applying that watercolour. I eventually go in with some gouache paint. I wanted some white gouache in there just to make those butterflies really stand out, and then I realised that I wanted to darken up the main part of the butterfly, because that was more realistic. So I'm really pleased I did that, because it really made it stand out. I did want to do it really loose and washy, but the butterflies kind of just like disappeared into the flowers. So when I added the black and the white, it really, yeah, it made it much more dramatic, and I loved it. With the splatter work, I mean, splatter work's really hard to do actually, because, you know, if you do it too wet, then you're gonna have these big fat blobs on there, but yeah, you just got to play around with it basically. You add more watercolour on, add a bit more water until you're getting those flicks right. So you can see eventually I get to the flick, the colour, the size that I wanted, and created a little bit of splatter because I just wanted to add a little bit more texture in there. So yeah, I loved peeling off the tape and revealing this lovely picture with the white border. I'm really proud of that one. So let's get that stuck in there. And eventually I think I might collect some dead things. I didn't want to kill things on purpose just to put in my book. If I ever come across a dead butterfly, maybe, that'd be quite beautiful to stick in there. I mean, I don't know if I want to stick in like dead wasps because they're just evil. One day I'll finish the book and we'll have a tour, and then we can, you know, see the dead books that I've collected over the time. Right, finally we're gonna do make prints. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, it reminded me of last year in lockdown. I did this activity with my daughter. It was like one of her art lessons that she had to do, and she had to use potatoes and apples and things to create like symmetrical stamping things, which I loved because it just reminded me of my childhood and doing that in school, because, you know, art lessons were my favourite lessons. I love doing it. So yeah, that brought me right back, and I was like, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna use apples to print with and get out all my old stamps. So I found an old ink pad that I think my kids have got. I found some old stamps that I got a long time ago, and then I've got this metal stamping thing, which I think is for like engraving in metal, but I've never actually used it for that. And I don't know why I ended up getting this. It just kind of appeared in my life. I think I just like the weight of it, and I was like, I want that. And I think I thought it was for normal stamping, and that's why I've never actually used it properly, because I've never had the right metal to stamp with it. So I should do something one time with that's what it's used for, you know, instead of using it with ink. Anyway, so I wanted to make this page quite a attractive page, so I wanted to do a drawing of an apple first. I did like an oil painting of a apple once, and I was so proud of it. So I thought, yeah, let's do that, but in watercolour. So I did watercolour, and this is a very mixed media page. I added a bit of pencil crayon towards the end. And yeah, with watercolour I just kept laying it over the top. I started off with green and then brought the red in, and then just kept on building that colour. And then I went on to doing some printing. So I've got my ink and wrote apple a few times, drew it a few times, and then I used my metal ones, and I used Posca paint pens, and I just put that over the letter bit and printed that, and it worked amazingly. So if you do have these metal stamp things, that's a way of getting the ink on them, because they don't work on a normal ink pad. But yeah, Posca paint pen, win. Finally, we're going to get stamping with some apples, because that's great fun. I used gouache paint actually for my stamping, and yeah, that worked quite well. I did a blue one and a green one, and I like it. I really like this page. So there you have it. There are my 3 pages that I've done this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. If, like me, you like getting creative, not just art, not just crafts, but even if it's DIY or baking or gardening, whatever you're into that allows you to get creative, then feel free to come and join my Facebook group. It's called Cassie's Creativity Club, and basically we just share our artwork. We encourage each other, inspire each other. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!